Board of Commissioners, August 4th, 2025, 6 p.m. regular meeting. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Please stand for the invocation given by Mr. Barry Smithson, followed by the pledge to the flag.
Let's pray. Thank you, Heavenly Father, let us be here together tonight, Lord. Just be with these commissioners and their staff, Lord, they conduct the business of this county, Lord. Let them lead and guide and direct this county in your life, Lord. Thank you for the weather we receive, Lord. Beautiful breaking sunshine, Lord. The rain we have took part in, Lord. Just lead and guide us, direct us, bring us back to the next meeting. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is to adopt the agenda. Do we have any additions or subtractions to the agenda?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
I make a motion to adopt.
Second.
All in favor? All right, then I would like to make a motion that we go into executive session to cover litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax matters.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Executive session at 6:01. All right, there's no action taken in executive session. Next item on the agenda, presentations. Item 1, Amy Watson, Keep Meriwether Beautiful.
I don't see Miss Watson here. I'm gonna call up Ms. Sharp to give the dates of the next Keep Meriwether Beautiful.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm not exactly sure what Ms. Watson wanted to speak about, but we're getting ready to plan the Keep Meriwether Beautiful again. We have a planning meeting on Thursday, August 28th at 10, and the cleanup day for this fall is September the 27th. We'd love to have the Commissioners have a team. We've got plenty of bags and all, and it's a great event. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Internet Infrastructure, Kudzu, a subsidiary of Diverse Power. Randy Shepard and Eric Holly. Sir.
Good afternoon, I'm Randy. Eric's here, he's in charge of building our fiber plant and so forth, so we get any of that stuff, I'll get him up here so he can speak to that. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. We were contacted a few months ago to see if it was possible for us to, if we had service in the Greenville area for internet service by the school system and by the county, and have been taking a look at it over the last, I guess 2-3 months to see if there was something we could do. First of all, for those of y'all who don't know, Kudzu is a subsidiary of Diverse Power, and several of y'all I think are probably familiar, may have areas where Connexon has worked with Southern Rivers. We kind of went at things a little differently under Senate Bill 2. We were allowed to work with a partner like that, or we were allowed to do it on our own if we did it through a subsidiary that was kept separate, and that's the route we chose to go. We've been at it pretty hard for 3 or so years and have concentrated in our service area on those that did not have anything at all to start with. And we gradually, now that we got most of that, we still have a little bit in Meriwether County we're still working on, but we've started moving into some different areas of our service territory, and in the case of Greenville, I guess a little bit outside of. But what you got, I think, in front of you is a proposal for us to provide service to the county. And since we talked to staff earlier last week, we've gone back and we're kind of looking at basically bringing internet to a couple of locations, one being 911, the other may be the admin building here. And then constructing a ring which connects several of the facilities over here, including the sheriff's office, jail, I'm not gonna get the names right, the next building up to the north here, Humane Society, the elections building out 109, some facilities downtown around the courthouse, got a fire station up here, I believe, and basically connecting all of those as if they were just simpler terms, offices connected, basically, giving the connectivity between those and providing internet access. And doing it in such a manner that we give as much redundancy as we can as far as alternate paths for buildings to be connected and so forth, so that if we lost one particular building for some reason or a path between the two, we kept everything else up and running as being redundant. Couple of things, hopefully, I know some of y'all may know who Diverse Power is and know how we try to do business and how we try to keep the lights on. We've adapted those same sorts of things over to the internet side of business. That's one reason we did it on our own. We brought our own expertise in, from network administrators to construction people to construction crews to installers that go in the house. We didn't want to use any contractors because we wanted to keep a good handle on what we're doing and offer the best product that we could offer and service that we can offer. The internet's the internet. It's just a matter of, how you serve those customers when something goes wrong, or when you have a disaster or whichever that may take some of it out. So we do feel like we can provide a high level of service being here local. With the team we have in-house, we're not transporting people or answering calls thousands of miles away and that kind of thing. With that, we're basically providing a solution that will do, we think, everything and a little more than what you got currently. And we also had understood at the last meeting that your equipment is under lease from your current provider. And we would be offering a solution that we would basically give you a lease to own on new equipment if you were to go with us at such time. So that you wouldn't have that large out-of-pocket expense. Basically, probably something like a 5-year lease to own. At the end of 5 years, it becomes your equipment. You quit paying us for any of that. And so that we can offer, a clean solution if that's what y'all desire. With that, I left anything out that I hope I haven't that I intended to say, but I'll be happy to field any questions I can.
I have one, so there's 2 proposals in here, different costs.
Yes, sir.
And I've been looking and I don't see the difference in the service provided.
One's a 36-month price and one's a 60-month price, I believe.
Okay.
That's correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Right.
Does it?
Yeah, the first page, I think, has the terms on it. And I didn't mention, but we've got about 6 miles we're going to end up building to get here and do the ring around still, so it's a pretty substantial build for us. Our plant currently ends half or a quarter way coming up north on Hillhaven Road. So our plan would be to continue up to there, hit 100, go north and south on 100, up, I believe it's County Farm Road, over to 27, come down 27 and ring it back to 100. To 100, and then come south on 100, just north of town, skirt across town about a block north, I think, of the courthouse, then over to 109 back and head out toward the elections facility, picking up the stuff along the way.
Any other questions?
One other thing I did want to mention, I apologize. So in doing this, and just put everything out front, we've worked with Dean Ginn, I have for the last 12 years or so. He does our radio work. So he's very familiar with where our tower locations are, and the county's actually using some of our towers. You got space on those. And I know y'all got a radio proposal that's coming, so I picked up the phone and called him because we have fiber to our towers. And it only made sense to me that if you go forward with a radio proposal, we can connect some of those towers being our Mountville Tower on the county line, our Hogansville Tower up at the industrial park, Meriwether County. The Forest Road Tower is not ours, but we run right by it with fiber. It was made mention to us that you potentially would use the public service cellular tower there just south of this building, and we'd be here with fiber potentially. And then the last one, I think you guys have something on, is our Manchester Tower up on 190 there near the State Patrol Station. And we currently have our radio system on the Hogansville Tower, the Mountville Tower, and the Manchester Tower. So those are key points for us operationally. We have them, our transmitters are fiber connected. With the exception of Manchester. Manchester, we have a microwave link. I believe it's a 300 meg link from Red Oak right up the road here, and from Mulberry Grove, which is on Highway 315, and we got fiber to Mulberry Grove. So we have a ring to Manchester as well, so we got redundancy there. And we also have quoted in there that we would connect those 5 towers, which would give you the option of not having to do microwave links on those sites to connect them otherwise, which eliminates any kind of maintenance that you got, plus I think an added expense. Dean can speak to that up front for that equipment. So that's in that proposal as well, to connect those 5 towers.
Now that stands whether we do business with.
Yes, sir, we can connect them regardless, because we have the facilities to do so, but again, it could be a pretty substantial savings on hardware on the front end and maintenance on the back end on microwave. Plus, fiber's typically a little more reliable than microwave. Eric, I miss anything? No. Any other questions? If not, I'll get out of everybody's way.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Next is public safety communications infrastructure. Dean Ginn, is that correct?
That's correct. Good afternoon. I appreciate the time. I am Dean Ginn. I'm the owner of Dean's Commercial Two-Way. So I'm before you. Obviously, we've got some current projects in play at Forest Road, where you had the structure was tore down by the storm, as well as Station 100, where you had a vehicle that tore down your tower about 3 years ago. So we've got proposals in front of you based on finishing up Forest Road, tying in the Warm Springs site for channels for simulcast that will give you public safety grade equipment and service in place for those 2 sites for the SO as well as the fire and the EMS. So relative to that, I'll answer any questions based on what we've got out there. We do have a proposal based on equipment that supports LTE that would address your initial issue that you have right now with countywide coverage. What we're proposing is building out the sites for coverage around the county, and it will take somewhere around 6 sites, which is what our proposals have outlined for you for budgetary numbers. With that said, once you get Forest Road and Warm Springs in place, we do Greenville, that'll get your core radio system back to better than where it was at before the storms and the tornadoes took down your equipment infrastructure, because you're really struggling right now with your radio, your SO being able to talk around the county as well as your fire. The solutions, as I said, that we bring to the table is future-proofing where you're at with radios, because immediately if you desire to move forward with the radios that support LTE and multi-bands, it's backwards and forwards compatible right here. It future-proofs you for where you need to be immediately the day one. And what we have done just to test this and prove it is we brought in 4 radios. We put them on Southern Link's LTE network. The radios have LTE built into them for push to talk. And the county SO facilitated the test on their own without us being involved. Basically put it out there and said, go test it. We want you to tell us where it works and where it does not, because you're using Southern Link's network based on their LTE network. After that, we brought in 2 more radios that are using AT&T's FirstNet. So they have had the opportunity to go out and test it equally, and obviously, they've got feedback that they can give you relative to that. We feel like the FirstNet is really the solution I would recommend. We have the ability of overseeing it and working with it and the beyond much better than what we do with the Southern Link, where the architecture is controlled at the Southern Link level. So having said that, the radio equipment we do have proposed gets you immediate communications for your first guys out. I think it's 34 radios that would be issued out to your sheriffs and 20 for the EMS and fire people that are first responders out. We're linking them back to your conventional radio system, which is what we're building up. We're getting it back to where it needs to be. So you'll have a core to rely on as you build forward and put your sites out there, but immediately you'll get communications back up and running. With that said, the devices support 4 different technologies. You get the LTE, which gets you the push to talk, and we tie it back to 911, so it's business as usual, talking your conventional and the LTE. It supports 800, P25 phase 1 and 2. Where does that come into play? Your constituents to the north, Coweta County, they have an 800 system. You would be able to put IDs on that system. So if you're in a jurisdictional issue that you're coming into their territory, you need help from them, you can switch over and talk to them to the north. Likewise, Harris County's in the middle of building out a 12-site P25 phase 2 system in Harris County. You'd be able to get IDs on it. Jurisdictional interoperability when you're in the state park. Highway 190 across the top of the mountain comes into play many times. Whether you're taking an ambulance in, airlifting somebody out, or search and rescue on the mountain, there's just numerous situations that radio would support, and Harris County would give you IDs to get onto their network for interoperability. Three counties on 800. So it gives you where everybody's going in the P25. It opens up the doorway for any grant money down the road, because the P25 capable radios would support or qualify for grants. VHF Center, so we'll talk to your current radios as well as talk to anybody such as Talbot County, anybody else in the VHF spectrum. So it future-proofs where you're at. You're making a big investment into a radio, but you're basically getting 4 radios in one. We're utilizing the LTE to get you back up and running immediately as we build your system out for simulcast for the 6 sites. So having said that, we've pretty well got it laid out. I'll be happy to answer any questions I've got. The way we wanted to present it was put it out there, let you guys test it, kick the tires on it, see where it works, how it works, and I would suggest talking to the deputies that had it firsthand and getting feedback from them. What we got back was good, but there again, I want you to hear it from them rather than us. I'd rather you test it in advance, know what you got, and it's a public safety grade product is all I can tell you. It's set for where you need to be in the public safety arena.
So you mentioned we tested Beyond radios.
The Harris radio is who the manufacturer is, but you have 2 LTE product platforms. One is Beyond, which is Harris's protocol they use for internet push to talk.
Okay.
And they host a server. We basically didn't have that internet traffic using the FirstNet. The radios
That's fine.
basically talk.
I'm not interested in all that. I want to understand. You mentioned that we tested that radio, Harris, Beyond, whatever it is, and then you said we also tested Southern Link.
Tested radio using Southern Link's network.
For the same radio using
It's
that?
All right, let me sort of clarify what you got. We're proposing a multi-band radio that has LTE in it for push to talk. On the LTE side, you've got 2 vendors in the marketplace that you can utilize, either the Southern Link towers that has towers within Meriwether County or FirstNet. We demoed both. The version that Southern Link uses the MP or MCPTT push to talk. That's basically their protocol. Harris offers what's called Beyond, which is their server for push to talk, and we can utilize FirstNet's LTE network for the coverage.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to clarify, because we've been told we only tested one.
You tested one product or one radio, but it had 2 LTE vendors for services that it brings to the table.
There's documentation on that?
There is. The sheriff and his guys have the documentation on where they tested it.
And it worked on both of them.
Yes.
Now, are these compatible with the new next-gen 911 system that's rolling out next year?
The next gen, yeah, well, let's clarify. Yes, the radio side of it is fully compatible with anything in the next gen as well as the current. Next gen is really based on the protocol for the wireline replacement with fiber to the 911 centers for the data, the alley, all of the data portions of it. But yes, our radio system is 100% compatible on the radio side for anything, whether it be next gen or the current 911 system.
So how did it react in the cold area?
As you expect, they're spotty.
Better than current or?
Oh, yeah. I was able to just flip a switch, go to the VHF system and still get out in very quick.
And the way we would address that is after they've done the testing of what, in my opinion, FirstNet brings to the table for coverage there, we would suggest going into the cove and putting a conventional repeater down in the cove where you're at the worst, lowest spot in the county. And they can switch manually to that. And that's the beauty of the system. They can switch over to LT when they're in the area, whether it be in the day-to-day operations of Meriwether County or if they're in Metro Atlanta, because they're going to be using the FirstNet wherever they go. They get into a chase and it goes into 3 jurisdictions, you didn't outrun coverage because you're going to stay on FirstNet throughout that journey right there. But if they're in the area and it's conventional, then we can work on tying a conventional channel back to 911, similar to what we're doing now. So it's backwards compatible and forwards.
So that conventional repeater, that's in this proposal as well, or?
No, that's not.
What's the ballpark figure of what something like that would cost?
You know, if you go put a repeater out there, just a conventional with a link radio on it, you're probably a $15,000 investment.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part, from what I was told, it was pretty well covered within the county using the AT&T network. As we build out and finish Forest Road, as well as Public Services Tower here in town, and the Warm Springs site, that's going to bring back a lot of your portable coverage and mobile coverage around the county. So they'll still be able to use their mobile radios for the conventional piece of it, and the portables to get that coverage that they don't currently have in the time that it takes us to get that built, whether it be 6 months, 8 months, a year. Immediately, you get service up in your public system.
Any other questions? All right, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it pretty well covers it. I can answer any questions you may have. I'm good.
I don't think anybody has any right now, man. Okay, thank you very much, sir. That finishes the presentation, so we have a finance report.
Commissioners, I'd like to introduce our new Finance Director, Tammy Lackey. She'll be giving the finance report.
On the first page of the report are the balances for all of the bank accounts as of this afternoon. As you can see, we have not received the interest for the LGIP accounts. We expect that to be posted tomorrow. We have received the second quarter tipping fees and host fees that were a substantial increase from the first quarter due to the volume. We have received our lost, and T-SPOS distributions, which were also an increase over the previous month. If you will look on your second page, the SPOS balance is at $1.2 million. The T-SPOS balance is $531,000. In the LRA, the status of Tigner Road is the payment is expected to be issued on August the 11th. That has been completed. Trammell Road has been completed. We are expecting an update for the Magnolia Road, and LL Revel Road is completed, and that payment will be made on August 11th also.
Thank you and welcome to the new position.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question. On the first page, it says landfill, $891,579. Please, explain to the board what that is.
Mr. Vice Chairman, that is money set aside from the auditors. They do a separate landfill audit every year, so they allocate money for the post-closure of the landfill that was closed. I will reach out to them to see if we can reduce that amount, but there is a reserve that typically has to stay in that account. And we got it in an interest-bearing account, gaining roughly $4,000 a month in interest, that we can probably reallocate that interest back to the general fund. I'll double check with the auditors on that, but I do know there is a amount of money that has to stay in there just in case there's a post-closure accident or something like that, the county has to pay that. So there has to be a reserve.
I think that's what we were looking for, was what is that reserve? Can we move above that to some of these special projects?
I'll reach out to the auditors to find out. Like I
And
said,
definitely the interest that we're earning, can it go towards special projects?
I believe so, because it is in an interest-bearing account and it is money set aside probably from the general fund originally, just for landfill, any leakage or reporting that been found. Yeah, and usually they adjust it year over year. I think it was adjusted the first year I was here. They dropped it $50,000 or $100,000. I'll look into that from the auditors.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the finance report? Great. Next is department heads. Do we have any department heads here to speak?
We do, commissioners, we got animal shelter. To give an update on the animal shelter.
They're here, do they know they were gonna speak?
Yeah.
July was a pretty good month for us. We brought in 75 strays off the streets. To date, we've got 350 animals that have come into the shelter. 306 of those have found homes via transports or adoptions. Currently, we have about 52 dogs and 32 cats at the shelter. We're moving along pretty well. No operational needs at this time that we're requesting. And anybody have any questions or heard anything or need anything answered? I'm here to answer anything that needs to be.
I remember last year saying we were given budget or whatever for the incinerator or something like that. All that done, completely been working.
The incinerator is still the only thing that we do not have.
And why is
Every
it?
avenue I've tried grant-wise did not come through. They opted for other projects, so we're still looking for that to get covered through other means first.
What would be the total on it if we were to buy it?
Around 30,000.
I would like for you just to state publicly what the process for when a citizen finds a stray dog. If they find one and y'all are full right now, just let us know what procedurally you'd like for people to do. If you're full and you can't take it, but just so that the citizens can hear what they need to do in that situation.
Well, there's a lot of options with that. As long as we're notified right away, we document that and we create a list. And we go by, as soon as we get space, we pick them up. If the citizen's willing to let the animal stay there, if they want food provided to help assist, or if they just want to take care of it themselves, we allow whatever options they want. What we look for is time frame. That's the main thing with strays. We have people that call in as soon as they show up, and we have people that call in 2 years later. Every option is different. And we take it by case when it's that.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank
Any
you.
other department heads to speak?
I don't believe so, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Any citizen comment?
No, sir, we had one, but she was removed herself, so we have no one.
Okay, next item is the minutes from July 22nd, 2025, regular meeting at 6 p.m. Any changes to the minutes as reported? If not, we have a motion to accept them.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Okay, no public hearing, no appointments. Unfinished business, item 1. Discussion and direction on allocation of general projects fund. Subsection A is the interest from the LGIP.
Commissioners, this item was tabled from the July 7th meeting regarding the interest earned from the LGIP, which is a local government investment pool. The year-to-date interest earnings from taxpayer invested funds are as follows. The general fund, just over $333,000. The general fund special projects, a little over $121,000. Combined total in the general fund account, almost $455,000. With 3 months left in the year, I would conservatively estimate this to be additional $100,000, which could be up to $150,000 additionally due to the interest rates. That would bring us approximately $550,000 to $600,000. If we look back in the fiscal year 2024, the total interest earned on both accounts, general fund and special projects, was almost $445,000. And that's investment off of taxpayer dollars. Together, these funds equal almost $1 million that we can use to support public safety radio infrastructure. Staff's recommendation is to use the LGIP interest earnings to earmark for public safety infrastructure improvements and radio purchases contingent upon the development of a formal project plan. That's all I have for item A, if the board has any questions.
So we're going to commit the $999,000 of investment money to public safety infrastructure for radios.
That's if I have to go into the fund balance. We can probably do it in stages, as is outlined by D Communications. The first two quotes are the primary things that need to be done. That's about $250,000. We have that in investment currently to date, which would be about $600,000. So that's fully covered on that part. And then other pieces we can do in stages. I don't have to go into the fund balance. I would just like to have the interest earning going forward earmarked for infrastructure improvements as we do these in phases. Because if I'm not mistaken, Dean, each one will be about 8 months, give or take, before each stage is completed after the first two items are done. So you're not looking at 7 things going on in 1 year.
So you're asking us to allocate all the money to that particular?
Well, up to the proposed amount that's in that proposal. I think it's just shy of 1.1
That
million.
exceeds what's before us for radios.
Correct.
So I think I would feel more secure if we make a decision on radios to do that percentage of that amount toward that instead of opening it up, all of it, and allocating. And then anything additional that needs to come before us for that same area, we would have to approve at that time. If we open it up and approve that entire amount and we don't move forward for a year or so on it, then we may need to use that money for something else. So I wouldn't feel comfortable doing all of the allocation for that one particular area, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I think the first two items, let me look back at the 1047, 1048, 250. You're looking at about 700,000. If you add into the radios with the Beyond, you're looking at probably a little over 700,000. And that's with the first two, the Greenville PSC and the Forest and Warren Springs. Those are the two major ones that need to be done as quickly as possible to get us infrastructure back up and running.
So it's roughly 45% of the total available interest money.
And I went back to 23 on a previous one, and it surpasses, I think, 1.2 million that we've earned in interest that's sitting in the fund balance now as well. This is just a way that we don't have to go into taxpayers' money, that we can build an infrastructure that is, in my opinion, is crucially needed.
Maybe I was wrong or confused. That's my wife and children, it happens all the time. But I thought we were needing this for HVAC in the courthouse.
The HVAC is the next phase of this project. The first phase is about 1.2 million. We have that in SPOS right now. And we have 5 months of SPOS remaining for the year. So we're keeping at 1.2, 1.3 to do phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 3 of the courthouse will be the HVAC, which is estimated at about 1.5 million. So there's several pools that we can pull from that piece as well. We have, sales of property, other avenues in the general fund along with SPOS that we can combine sources to pay for courthouse renovations along with radio infrastructure. This is just one funding source.
I understand. I just recall a conversation that this needed to be brought up and separated and done tonight because we needed to get it going for the HVAC before that got to be an issue and we couldn't do it.
That would be on item B.
Radios that were not that urgent.
Item B would be the general fund projects, that $3 million, but we were going to recommend tabling that to after we have our work session next Monday.
So I'm remembering both A and B.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We did discuss everything in the first meeting, but it was broken out into sections.
Okay.
So I didn't want to bring it up on this one because more things may come up during budget work session where we can use what was the ARPA money as well, but the interest is in the LGIP, and I do have that in the special projects.
So is there anyone on the board like to make a motion on item 1A the interest from the LGIP, or table it again?
I like to table it again.
Put that in the form of a motion?
I do. Till, what's the next meeting?
August 26th.
August 25th?
Sixth.
26th, I like to table that to August 26th.
So we have that motion, do we have a second? All in favor? Okay. So item 1A is tabled to August 26th.
And item B, we would request to be tabled to August 26th as well.
Okay.
I make a motion we table item B to the August 26th meeting.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Item 2 under unfinished business is approval of agreement with Helios for personnel manual review.
Commissioner,
Now the chair or vice chair to sign the agreement.
I didn't see that one on there. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. This was tabled on July 22nd, attached as the previous documents of the original request, and Human Resource Director Valley Chambers is here to answer any questions the Board of Commissioners may have. I believe this was tabled because they wanted to hear from Ms. Chambers.
Okay, I think there was some concern about not getting a quote from the county attorneys. I didn't even think about getting one from them because I know they don't specialize in employment law.
Not available. Not competent to do so, how about that?
I did get 3 quotes, which I was required to do, and one was $390 an hour. That was from Jared and Davis. I got one from Ellerby, Thompson, SAP, and Wilson. That was $270 an hour. And then I got one from Helios HR. They're an HR consulting firm, and they were $200 an hour. So I opted to go with Helios, number one, because they were the most economical option. But number two, one of my HR colleagues in Burke County is currently using Helios, and the feedback I've gotten from her has been very positive. So I think they would do a good job for us.
How many hours are we looking at for them to review?
She's estimating around $400.
So
$4,000, I'm sorry.
$4,000.
Yeah, $4,000.
Yeah.
It could be less or it could be a tiny bit more. It's hard to say
Her
until
quote
she
says
starts
a
looking at.
minimum of $4,000, so it doesn't say it could be less. Her quote said a minimum of $4,000, so then it's upward. And if they have to travel here, there'd be business expenses. So we don't know the upward number on that one.
She wouldn't need to travel here. It would all be done by phone and
So
email.
Valerie, tell me what the significance of having this done is, because we haven't done it in the past.
Just to make sure everything is in compliance. I've written it and researched it to the best of my ability, but I think it's in the county's best interest to have somebody with the legal knowledge to look at it, to make sure I've stated everything correctly. And if there's something I didn't put in it that I should have included, someone that will know to do that. I mean, it's to protect the county, to make sure we have a handbook that's legally correct that we can go by. It's something we've never had. We've always had a handbook, but as far as it being something that was written just for the county, just for what we need to have here, it's something that I'm really proud that I've done. I worked on it a very long time.
All your policies are federal law, federal regulations driven, and they change, so it's a good idea to have somebody.
So when all of this changes, and it could change biannual, it could change annual, things like that, depending on what comes before, would it have to go back to them to review again at that time for any changes?
I could probably just go to the HR hotline attorney that I normally use, which is no cost. That's through ACCG. I go to them routinely for, advice that's needed for the county. So just to ask a question about a policy, I could possibly go to them, which would not cost anything.
So does that free service review this personnel manual?
No, they wouldn't. Actually, she's the most expensive quote on here.
So at that point exactly, Gerard and Davis up in Forsyth County is the one who you got the most expensive quote. But on their proposal, that was for one of the named partner attorneys. They also had 4 other tiers that we could have chose from of their attorneys with their firm. So,
You don't get to pick the attorney. They're saying these are the attorneys that you can expect to work on.
okay, well on here it just said $390 for a named attorney and
I'm
then,
just telling you.
yeah. Cause that's what she gave us. The founding partners is $390 an hour, or the associate rates, like if we were to choose them.
I understand how it works,
Right.
but you don't get to say, I want this lawyer to work on it.
Well, I'm just saying, if she gave us that's $390 an hour for a partner, a named partner, and that one's $5,000, but Helios is somewhere that's a minimum of $4,000, and it's a consulting firm that's from Maryland. But their paperwork says that if there's travel expenses, that we're responsible for those. I mean, that's what her contract that you gave us says. If there's any, we'll let you know. We know it's gonna be a minimum of $4,000, but it could go upward. So we don't have any idea. That'll be like me just giving you a blank check saying, here's $4,000, get any more, here you go.
It's my understanding that she could come here and, roll out the new handbook and train our management team on it. There's any number of additional things that she could do. I'm not planning to use any of those services. That would be the additional, that would be the travel. The person who's currently using the services, my HR colleague that's in Burke County, has handled everything by phone and via email. She sent a spreadsheet showing, this is what I'd like to
How many
change and that
hours
kind of
is she
thing.
up to?
Oh, I don't know. How many hours
I
are
mean,
they up to
that's-
in Burke County? I don't know. I'm
We don't
sorry,
have
I don't
any
know
idea.
that.
I personally would feel more comfortable with it being human resources and law, using a law firm.
Any of these will do a fine job. I mean, I don't know Helios, but I know Gerard Davis, and I
Right.
know Elodie Thompson.
That's right.
Either one of them is
That's
fine.
what I'm saying. I would rather use a law firm over a consultant firm. I'd rather use a law firm, either one of the other two. One is $5,000 to $7,500. I would feel more comfortable using Gerard and Davis over a management consulting group.
We can always set a not to exceed limit on this.
I mean, I know all these people. I can call them and say, this is what we need. But
You
I
know, the
mean,
people
but
who
you
do
can't,
this too.
yeah, but I mean, I know the people at Gerard Davis real
Right.
well. But what I'm saying is, if a lawyer tells you they need this much time, you don't want to say, no, I'm only giving you half of that.
No, I agree completely.
But yeah, no, they're
Looking
not
at the
gonna, I
prices
can
that
call
she
them and say,
gave
look,
us.
this is what they need, yeah, but I mean, like I said, I know these people very well. And I was on the phone with Ken Gerard not too long ago,
Right.
talking about
I talked to him a few times as well. That's what I'm saying. I would prefer going with like Gerard and Davis at their rate than a management consultant firm
that's up to y'all.
personally.
That's up to you.
Yeah, I would be thrilled if we use Gerard and Davis. They're the ones that do the hotline
Right,
HR attorney.
right. And their county attorneys
So
all
I
over the
deal with
state
a
of
lot of
Georgia.
them,
Right. I met Mr. Ken
on a
quite a few
regular
times.
basis. So, I mean, I would be thrilled if we could use them.
Theirs was between 5,000 and 7,500. It was just the email correspondence at the first of your packet.
Yeah, that was an estimate. Angie, Angela Davis, the partner, she took a look at the handbook and thought that it was really, really well done thus far. She was impressed with what I had done. So based on that, I'm thinking maybe it's not gonna take her nearly as long as it might for some other project.
And Ken Gerard, one associated with ACCG, we
Yeah,
went
he
last
takes
week.
supplies, yes.
Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable still with somebody here in our own state than going out of state.
That would be great if y'all would support that. I just assumed I would need to go with the,
Oh, I understand.
Least
I
costly one.
appreciate that. I'm just saying, since he's familiar with them, and I've met Ken Gerard too through classes and so forth, I just, if it can be in our county, it needs to be in our county. If it can be in our state, it needs to be in our state before I want to go to Maryland. So,
well, I changed my recommendation then.
Can I make a
Now for a motion.
I make a motion, we go with Gerard and Davis to review our policy manual.
We'll see a call, so they know.
Sure.
Pending legal review of the contract,
what's that?
pending legal
Pending
review.
legal review of the contract
And allow the vice chair or chairman to sign it.
and allow vice chair to sign.
I'll second it.
He said it already, but, all right, so all in favor? Okay.
Thank you. I'll get the contract to you tomorrow morning, Nathan. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to new business. We're gonna do items 1 through 8 as one.
1 through 7.
1 through 7, Mr. Chairman.
1 through 7.
What is number 8? Sorry, yes.
That's
1 through
okay.
7. So, we have an intergovernmental agreement regarding the conducting of the 2025 municipal general election for the town of Gay, the city of Greenville, town of Lono, the city of Luthersville, the city of Manchester, the city of Warm Springs, and the city of Woodbury, and allow the chairman to sign.
So we're gonna do that in one motion?
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
That was quick.
That one was.
She didn't even get to speak to it. She didn't ask her anything to say.
Can you do 8 through 15 in one motion?
All right, item number 8, review and approval of the participant loan options for 401A and 457 deferred compensation plan.
Commissioner, staff is requesting authorization to explore options that would allow employees to take loans from their 401A plan and their 457 deferred compensation plan through Empower. Implementing this option would require approval from the Board of Commissioners to amend the current plan documents to permit loans. In addition, a formal loan policy and checklist will need to be developed and adopted. Staff recommends obtaining the necessary paperwork and documentation from Empower to determine the specific requirements and procedures for offering loan provisions to employees under the existing retirement plans to bring back to the board at the next meeting on August 26, 2025.
Okay. So it sounds like you don't need an action from us, because you're gonna do this.
We just need authorization to reach out to Empower to get the forms from them. And me and Ms. Stevens are both administrators of the plan, so we can reach out to them and
I don't have a problem. Anybody,
I'll make a motion to allow.
Second.
all in favor? Item number 9, discussion and consideration of fireworks at Lake Meriwether for July the 4th, 2026.
Commissioners, because July 4th, 2026 falls on a Saturday, staff is requesting approval to once again host a fireworks display at Lake Meriwether on that date. We are seeking authorization to use up to $25,000 from the Lake Meriwether bank account to support the event. This account is funded by revenue generated through tent and RV site rentals as well as fishing activities at the lake. Sponsorship donations will continue to serve as a primary funding source with additional funding not to exceed $25,000 from the Lake Meriwether bank account. This is a little different than prior years where we use taxpayer money, but talking with the Lake Advisory Board, they have over $130,000 in the bank account. They feel that they can support it with Lake Meriwether rental, the campsites and RV.
And how did we come out this past year with the fundraising and so forth?
Finance has got a calculator I can get to you on the August 26th meeting, let you know. But the total cost
We
was.
didn't go anywhere near the 25 we budgeted though.
Correct, because sponsorships came in, last calculation we did, I think was like 17 to 18,000. So we just have to calculate what the
So we're saving
taxpayers.
taxpayer money.
So the
Correct.
sponsorships payable to the county or to the Lake Meriwether?
Lake Meriwether,
So all the sponsorship money's been going there anyway.
correct. And they'll transfer whatever the funds were paid to the general fund out of Lake Meriwether back to the general fund.
This will clean that up a little bit.
Correct.
Okay.
Just a little cleaner on the audit, financials, and accounting perspective.
Okay. Any other discussion from
Someone
the
need to
board?
make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion make a motion to consider the fireworks at Lake Meriwether for July 4th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Item 9, item 10, consideration of proposal from Kudzu Networks, a subsidiary of Diverse Power Internet Infrastructure.
Commissioners, Kudzu Networks has submitted 2 proposals to provide fiber internet service to the county's offices, including access to the radio towers. The first proposal offers a 36-month agreement at a monthly cost of $12,800, totaling $153,600 annually. The second proposal extends over 60 months at a reduced monthly rate of $9,550, totaling $114,600 annually. As of July 31st, 2025, the county has spent a total of $127,000 with its current provider, Spectrum, for services rendered through June of 2025. Approval of the selected proposal would authorize Kudzu to begin developing the necessary infrastructure to deliver service to the county. Staff recommends proceeding with the 5-year agreement due to projected cost savings of $3,250 per month or $39,000 annually over the 3-year option. The county's current internet provider is Spectrum, with that agreement set to expire in September 2026. Transitioning to Kudzu may result in a brief overlap in services depending on the timeline of Kudzu's implementation in the primary service area. And IT Director Matthew Brown is available for any questions that you may have regarding this matter.
I got it.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So number one, we're not seeing spectrum specifications to be able to compare Kudzu to. So what we're paying for spectrum today, what is that service? I mean, because Kudzu's outlined, you know, 2 gigabytes per second for this, 29 IP blocks, 1 gigabyte for that. What is spectrum? Are we going down in service?
Oh, no, we're going up in service with Kudzu. The whole reason I even started looking into this is because we've been having so many problems with the internet. Tractor trailers hitting fiber lines between here and Woodbury, here in Thomaston, taking out our internet here. We needed a backup form of internet. That's how I even started looking at this. Kudzu, the way they're talking about building out their network, like he said earlier, that ring style network, that will build redundancy into our network. So we won't have to have a second provider in case something goes down. They will have internet coming into us from 2 different directions. So if a tractor trailer hits it between here and Woodbury, then between here and LaGrange, we still got another line coming in to build in that redundancy. And so that's how we even got started looking at it. The one thing we're still under contract with Spectrum, so we need to see, we reached out to them, we're waiting to hear back to get the exact dates for their contracts to end, to see if it's feasible, if we drop the contract early, what kind of prices we're looking, the early termination fees, that kind of stuff. They're supposed to be sending that to us. They said they'd have it to us by the end of the day. We still don't have it. So hopefully tomorrow or the next day we'll have that where we can kind of lay it out. But, so right now our main line coming into the county is a gigabit service. This will be a minimum of 2 gigabits, so our speed will double. And at each location, the speeds are at least going to double. In a lot of places, it's going to be 10, 20 times faster than what they have now. So.
This also allow them to get into the county and then extend all that service to their citizens.
Yes, and so once they come into Greenville, then they can start spoking out and start offering it to citizens of Greenville or anywhere that's along the lines that they're going. I know the school system had reached out to them for the same, because the school system is on Spectrum as well. And so they have the same problems we do. When those tractor trailers hit those lines, their internet goes down. And so that's why they had reached out to them as well. It's going to be harder for the school system to go with them because they have schools in all these different cities all around. But it might be a good feasible backup for them at their board office for something. But
So John, do we have a contract with Spectrum? Does it not give a statement in there as to what it takes to back out?
I've reached out to Spectrum and they were supposed to get it back to me by the end of the day.
It should be in our contract. I mean, we should have that contract.
Everything I can find is a Excel spreadsheet with balances, service costs. There's really no master agreement saved anywhere in the files on the shared drive that I can access.
yeah, because this was when Bill Gregory and Skip Richmond were here. They set all this up, me and him. I've dug through all of Skip's old stuff. He's dug through all of Bill's old stuff, trying to find it. We can't. We found a lot, but we're looking for that master service agreement that states.
You just asking for a signed copy?
Yeah, I asked them for every document we have, especially the master agreement along with the lease term agreement. That way we can see what early termination fees are. With Kudzu, speaking with Randy and them, they believe this is probably a 6, 8, 9 month project. If it actually does expire in September of 2026, everything I read, Bill signed it, or someone signed it on October of 21. So 5 years would be September of 26. So if that's the case, we may have a few months of double payments, but we will be going to a much better
Well,
service.
I would add on it though. I'd like to see the comparables if we can get that from Spectrum when they send all that information.
Yes, sir.
What are we paying? What are we getting? And I trust Matthew
Oh, yeah.
100% on the speed, increasing on that. But I do think we need to see all of the information together. And then we need to wait and find out what the Spectrum, what we would owe to renege on the contract.
Yeah, we had this meeting with Kudzu Thursday. We've been searching since Thursday trying to find the original. So I reached out to 2 people and it got bounced back. And then we finally found a contact. The email went through and she was supposed to get it back by the end of the day, first thing in the morning.
It sounds like you'd like to table this?
Yeah, I
I
was
got a
like,
question, just some more. If I understood him correctly, when he was talking to us, he said that I think we lease our equipment now, but part of their deal, they'll provide the equipment.
So it would still be a lease.
to own.
That would be the difference. We are leasing it now, not a lease to own program. Whenever a lot of configurations, stuff like that needs to be made on our system now, I have to go to Spectrum, I have to put in a ticket with them, I have to wait 3 or 4 days for them to get back to me. Because they own this equipment, they make most of the configuration changes to it. Like Brian was saying, with this through Diverse, it will be lease to own. So
That's what I'm saying, that's what
yes.
I understood, right?
Yeah, so we will be making payments, but we will have complete control over our equipment. We can do what we want, when we want, how we want, so on and so forth, so.
Do we know if legal did a review of the contract with Spectrum? Would y'all have you would have a copy at your office?
I wouldn't say I review 1,000 contracts a year. So
But that might be something, if
Yeah, I look and
y'all
see,
could
but I don't-
check
yeah, I
and
mean,
see, you
yeah.
might get it back to us quicker than Spectrum could.
Yeah, I mean, I look, like I said, but I haven't.
I can try to go back in files as well before and
Yeah.
see.
So I want to make a motion to table, the consideration of proposal from Kudzu Network until our next meeting on August 26th.
I'll look tomorrow, if I got it, I'll send it, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's that?
That's a motion.
Got a motion, got a second. All in favor? Okay, item number 11. Consideration of proposal from Dean's Commercial two-way for radio equipment and site services at Forest Road, Warm Springs, and Greenville, PSC, quote 1047 and 1048.
Commissioners, Dean Commercial Two-Ways provided 2 key quotes for radio equipment upgrades on Forest Road, Warm Springs. Quote number 1047 totaling $63,206.69. And quote number 1048 for relocating equipment from the Sheriff's Office Tower to the PS Tower behind Texaco, totaling $193,722.60. However, the cost of this quote may be reduced by $41,000 if a microwave link on the PSC tower is not required and Kudzu runs the fiber to it. These 2 quotes represent critical components necessary to improve the county's existing radio system infrastructure. As previously outlined, the total estimated cost for initial project significantly enhanced countywide radio coverage, total $702,590.64. If the county proceeds with Kudzu proposed services, this cost will reduce to $560,590.64, resulting in a potential savings of $142,000 based on current pricing. So really, staff is requesting approval of quote 1047 and 1048 to get our infrastructure back to where it was pre-tornadoes and damage.
Well, I think what I've heard tonight or today is that we had Dean's Radio come out, the sheriff's office tested those, but we had 2 other vendors as well that we did not test. I would like to actually have those other 2 vendors provide equipment for the sheriff's office to be able to test out and see what the differences are in there, because we only have one company that got tested on theirs. And maybe the same radios, but I would like to see them because they're different quotes.
Right.
But I would like for the sheriff's office to be able to test from each of those on an equal basis as to what they did from Dean.
Got a motion?
Do you know who the vendors are, Commissioner Thurgood?
Well, saying that, what's that?
Do you recall the vendors?
I don't. There were 2 more, I believe.
One was through Southern Link, the proposal down here earlier. I mean, they had the radios through Southern Link for the thing for the radio and not the infrastructure side.
Weren't we told there were more? Radio, or we would like to have additional.
What y'all are talking about right now, this is just for the equipment on the cell phone towers. That is going to work on any of these radios regardless
Okay.
of vendor. So, yeah,
I didn't read it, sorry.
It's just the network difference.
yeah. So these quotes that he's talking about, this is just to get the equipment back on these towers to get our analog,
Yeah, you basically, 1047, is basically getting Forest Road and Warm Springs completed, the project has started. And then 1048 is for the infrastructure that is needed to get those two transmitters, as well as the other 5 transmitters, Greenville, Sheriff's Department Central, Fire Central, EMS Central, located on PSC Tower where they were lost. And when Station 1 had the tower pulled down, all that equipment got stored up here, not stored, put on the Sheriff's Tower, and it decreased the range, diminished your coverage drastically. So basically, the PSC is replacing or getting back what you had at Station 100, and then the radios that you're quoting, Harris radios with the Southern and beyond, is a totally different quote right there. So we got 2 items that need to be finished up, which is 1047, 1048. Then y'all need to make a decision if you can move forward with the radios we've got proposed that you can either have operating on the LT with Southern Link or beyond.
thank y'all for correcting me.
So when will we know whether or not the $41,000 is needed?
That will basically, should you move forward with diverse for connecting your city coverage with fiber, they're gonna pass the towers such as PSC's tower here in town. They'll pull the connectivity or fiber in there as part of what they quoted you. They'll also bring in the connectivity out of Mountain, which is part of the long-term growth that you'll have is out of 109 at the Mountain site, as well as site Hogansville and Industrial Park, and then Mount Carmel. So those will be future projects. As part of that, Mountain and Hogansville, they will offer you coverage based on what they offer. They will also bring in that coverage back to the Manchester site.
This says, quote, 1048 may be reduced by $41,000 if a microwave link on the PSC tower is not required. So we're saying if we go with the kudzu program, we will not need the microwave link.
That's right. Let me clarify, basically, in the column where you're seeing less microwave,
Yep.
that's based on what the relationship that Diverse Power will bring to the table. And we've done this in other municipalities around the state where they've got coverage and we work with municipalities. So what I did was I give you a quote. If you're not going to use Diverse, it's going to be the $193,000. I'll put a microwave on that site in Forest Road to get your connectivity there. But I give you the opportunity, should you utilize Diverse, then you'll do away with the $41,000 cost of that microwave that it would take to support that connection.
So do we need to table this item until we make the decision on kudzu?
I think so. I just misspoke.
I've got a question so I can understand. So like it's saying, proposal for Dean's Commercial, which do 2-way equipment, site service, Forest Road, Warren Springs. Are those your towers?
The Warm Springs Tower is ours. You're releasing it Forest Road.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, because no one's made a final decision yet, if we move forward to number 11 and get this equipment up and so forth, and then for some reason we table 12 because the boards want to see other vendors and see more than just one proposal, so we're doing what's best for the citizens, they'll still work on those towers, right? It's not like, well, if it didn't go with you, that we didn't waste our time on number 11.
And I'm not sure which is 11 on your paperwork. I've got a quote 1047, 1048.
That's 11.
All right, so 1047 is 11, is that correct?
1047 and 1048 are 11.
Okay.
Like, I guess if it was voted on tonight to move forward with number 11, to get the equipment, so forth, that you're talking about needs to be replaced, so, that was destroyed and got moved to the sheriff's department, and now it needs to go back out for better coverage. If we approve that, but then we wait to decide what vendor, what radius, whether it's your company, whether it's Sublink or whatever, they'll still have access to what that work we're having done.
What you're gonna do at Forest Road, regardless whether you go with me or somebody else, radio equipment will work on it. What we're proposing is finishing up what started out there. So I would ask that 1047 be moved on sooner rather than later, because basically we're in a position where we need to get the same transmitter up at both locations. So one will be servicing the fire and EMS, and the rest will be the sheriff's channel. So that accommodates 1047, which is Forest Road and Warm Springs. 1048, which is Greenville. I have no problem you tabling it until you make a decision on diverse. Then you'll know whether you need to spend $41,000 with me, as we proposed in the 193 figure, or you take advantage of diverse. And that will follow suit. Once you decide whether you're gonna use them, that'll impact your cost at Mountville and Hogansville. So there again, I have no problem with you deferring that, but I would ask that y'all move on 1047 so we can go ahead and get infrastructure ordered. It takes 8 to 10 weeks out, and we're in the midstream of trying to finish that, and it's needed, very much needed.
So one other question is, so because you said it could take up to 8 months to get this run, and if we move this equipment on 1048 to Greenville, do not use microwave because we want to go with kudzu, or we diminishing service for those 8 months.
Well, it'll take us longer than that to get it up. We've got a
So
lot
it'll be
of
like-
construction's got to be ordered.
Okay.
We're 8 to 12 weeks out on minimal infrastructure. We still got to figure out a building. There's a lot of moving parts on that, so we would be well outside of the 8 to 10 months. So we've been talking amongst with Diverse, and we feel like should you go with them, it'll be in the time frame that we'll be needing it out there. It just, the sooner y'all make the decision, it helps us quantify what parts and materials you need.
So I'd like to have a motion, we approve quote 1047 and table quote 1048 until August 26th.
Funding coming from,
General fund.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay, thank you.
I'll get you a PO for 1047, Dean.
All right.
Number 12 is consideration of purchase of P25 compliant radios from Dean's Commercial Two-Way, 34 units for Sheriff's Office and 20 units for Fire Rescue.
Now I'll speak.
Yeah.
So, we would like to see additional companies to come in and provide the radios to the sheriff's office for them to be able to test as Dean did, and we would like it in the same capacity with them. So, my understanding is there were multiple companies that you had, maybe I'm mistaken.
The only one I reached out was Dean Communications because he's done all the surrounding counties.
Okay. Well, we need to find a couple of others and have them test it too and get quotes from them. I put that in the form of a motion. I put a form of a motion to table this and allow the county manager to reach out to additional companies to provide the same testing services that Dean did for the sheriff's office to test the equipment.
Second.
To what meeting?
Till August 28th, 26th.
So a motion and a second, all in favor? Item number 13,
Thank you.
consideration of ordinance establishing parameters for no-through truck restrictions on designated county roads.
If you have it up, I'm there now. Yeah. Commissioners, in a letter from District Attorney Herb Cranford, he noted that Meriwether County does not currently have an ordinance prohibiting commercial trucks from using specific roads, and his office has never encountered a case in which a driver was cited for violating such an ordinance. To establish a new no-through truck ordinance, the county must first define the parameters to be included, such as restrictions, enforcement measures, and any specific roads the board wishes to designate under the ordinance. Once these parameters are determined, staff will prepare a draft ordinance to be presented for review at the August 26, 2025 board meeting. I do think this has to go out for a public hearing, if I'm not mistaken.
New ordinance.
What would be the next?
September.
So take,
Does it need to go out, Nate?
I think it's a public hearing.
If it's a new ordinance, that's not.
I mean, I don't have anything in your ordinances that require a public hearing for a new ordinance, do you? I mean, in general law, no, there's no public hearing requirement
Okay.
for an ordinance unless it's a zoning ordinance or certain ordinances,
Yeah.
not just a general ordinance, no.
we had legal reach out, they found one from another county and they defined it as 10,000 pounds, no trucks through with the proper signage. We just need to know what the parameters of the board would like for us to put in that ordinance.
We can do that. I just like to mention, since there's folks tuning in or they go back later and watch it, it really was, if you remember when the DA was here the other day, I had mentioned that the sheriff's department, when I reach out to them, go, why aren't you giving citations? They're tired of writing citations, the citations are thrown out. And then when I talked to the DA, they said, well, this I's not dotted, this T's not crossed, video signed, this and that. So when they came in for the budget a while back, you might remember I asked him then, tell us what we gotta have to be legal. to be able to enforce these trucks off our roads that we're struggling to fix and repair, that we don't have the money. So that's what has brought this all to a head, and he sent the information over. So I know I hope the rest of the board, but whatever we have to do, ordinance-wise, whatever we need to do to where we are legal and we have appropriate signs, the right height, the right wording, and the right ordinance, to where when our deputies write a citation, if these tractor trailers trying to save 30 minutes or 15 minutes, they will be prosecuted and they'll have to pay their dues. And that's why I'm glad this is finally on the agenda.
We don't have to approve anything here, you're gonna draft this and bring it back later.
We need to get some parameters of what the board would like to be drafted. Like your,
Where do you want
where do you wanna do, what do you wanna do? How many pounds on this road, or, I mean, it's,
You wanna do it countywide roads, no, not to exceed 10,000 pounds?
I think we'd like to see some, for me, since it is a new process and request, I'd
We
like
can
to
send
see
you
what other
some.
counties
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't sit here and tell you.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because most of the signs you see say no through trucks. They don't say no through trucks over this, over that, every now, but it's just no through trucks.
probably, if you, like with us with no ordinance, that's what our signs say.
In our ordinances.
And if we deem that road no
It spells
through
it
truck.
out, just on the road, it says no through truck.
Get us 3 or 4 examples from different
Right.
counties.
You start putting weight on it, then they're gonna have
Yeah.
to have someone go out there and weigh it. But that's not gonna work.
Yeah, you're right, that is kind of.
If you have on there 10,000 pounds, he's, I only got 9,800 pounds on here. Oh, okay, well.
We did, the reason he brought that up is we did see one out of, I think it was Athens, Park
Yes.
County, that basically said certain roads were designated no through trucks over this amount of weight. But then there were certain roads that were designated no through trucks at all.
Well, that's why our county
So-
roads need to be, no through trucks
Well,
at
that's
all,
what we were
unless,
asking.
unless they're delivering
Right.
or picking up or logging on that particular road, they have no choice but to go down. But, yeah, please.
10,001 pounds. You can't pull
Well,
your
you're not gonna be able
pickup.
to prove it, is the problem.
Right.
That, you will be able to prove it in court.
Unless they
You
have,
can't go out
unless they
there
have
and
scales.
y'all-
Yeah, the DOT has scales. I mean, the DOT would scale you out, but 10,001 pounds, I couldn't pull my Cummins diesel with a trailer with a skid steer on it across the county road. So the limit has to be commercial vehicle wise, so it's probably gonna be more like 20,001 pounds.
Practical for a little county too.
Sure, you know, you couldn't pull a hay trailer loaded down with
The
hay.
issue is that we put an ordinance out there and say no trucks over this, well, we have trucks that are county that we would be able to access on county roads, because we'd be breaking our own ordinance.
Right, I can't even drive my truck down the road, I live on
Right.
One thing while you're standing here,
there.
that says that some of the dismissals were because of, they were in existence, that the truck driver sitting in the cab said there were trees in front of the signs and they weren't clear. So while you happen to be standing there, when your guys see the no through truck signs, can you please cut the limbs back? Hopefully that won't take very long, but if that's one of the excuses they're using, then let's eliminate that excuse for them.
Sure.
Thank you.
And proper posting, of course, DOT approved signage. And then, like I said.
But I wouldn't get involved in any weight limit at all. We're basically trying to keep tractor trailers from cutting
Right.
through.
And I think they did that because the roads that they were specifying were right beside the college.
Yeah.
So, you know, UGA is in the middle of Athens Clark. So those roads like Millage where we do conference, those were the roads that they were specifically saying, this weight limit can't be on this road.
See, just like all the tractor trailers that come to the salvage place out here.
Sure.
They come in 100. They're supposed to come all the way down Peach towards Woodsville. Then come down the highway and make a right turn and turn in. But they come off 100, they come down, they cut through there on,
Gerald Road.
what's that?
Gerald.
Yeah, and then they come from that end there, just to keep having to stay on the state road to Luthersville. That's what we're trying to eliminate. They're saving time, but it tears our roads up.
Absolutely.
Or they come down Luthersville Road, which is a no-through truck,
Correct.
all the way down to 362, and then hang a left on 362 to go back out.
And it saves
Because they
them,
don't want to go to Greenville and drive around.
saves them 15, 20 minutes.
It does, but it tears our roads up.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't go wait at all.
No, we just need no through trucks, you can pull a destination bill of lading, he's either on that road, picking up and dropping off, or it's not, it makes it real simple for officers.
Yeah,
So
because
you'd like
that
to make
won't
it for all
exclude
of
like
them.
your cables, for instance, because they're not going through, they're stopping along
It's
the
gotta be
way.
commercial trucks.
We'll pull some general ordinances and send it to the board. If the board would like to table to the next meeting.
I make a motion table till August 26th.
All in favor? Okay. Item 14, approval of resolution to authorize and appropriate funding for judicial compensation supplements under House Bill 85.
Commissioners, the Georgia General Assembly passed House Bill 85, the Superior Court Judicial Compensation Reform Act, during the 2025 legislation session. The bill, effective July 1st, 2025, restructures compensation for Superior Court judges across the state. Beginning January 1st, 2026, counties may contribute a local supplement of up to $20,106 per judge annually for those judges who opt into this new state compensation structure. All four Superior Court judges of the Coweta Judicial Circuit have indicated their intent to opt into the new structure. Under this model, Meriwether County's annual contribution will reduce from $22,000 to $8,846.64, equivalent to $2,211.66 per judge.
It's hard right there because that is a typo.
That is a typo in there.
2,211.
Yes,
Okay,
should be .66 instead of a comma.
okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was fixing to make that correction. Staff recommends the board consider and approve the attached resolution to authorize and appropriate Meriwether County share of the new judicial compensation supplements effective July 1st, 2026. The approval, January 1st. So you said fiscal year. January 1st, 2026. This approval is contingent upon legal review, which legal has already reviewed and came back, and I think Judge Palmer has signed off on it as well.
The state's paying more, y'all get paying less.
That's right.
It is in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Right. Item 15, discussion of doing a fish survey at Lake Meriwether.
I think this is Commissioner Collins.
Well, I've just been, going out there down to the lake for a couple of years and been talking to people that go fishing and all, and everybody not catching any fish. And we charge them the fish, so I just figured it'd be only right to, do a fish survey, and go around the lake with it. They actually shop the fish and do a survey, scoop them up, weigh them, measure them, and then release them back and tell you what survey, tell you what you need to do at the lake.
Do we know what kind of cost that would be?
They're about $1,100.
From the county or from Meriwether, Lake Meriwether?
What, I guess it'd be from the lake.
It would be.
We can do it for Lake Meriwether.
Yeah, that's what I've used.
Does that board need to approve that?
I think they've already did.
I make a motion, we approve doing a fish study at Lake Meriwether to be paid for by Lake Meriwether funds.
I say. All in favor?
You abstain?
Abstain. Okay, report from county administrator.
Commissioners, just give you a couple of updates. The bid for the old election building is advertised. We do have a meeting planned, I think, this Thursday for anybody that wishes to see the building that can come. The CM for the courthouse is being advertised. LMIG will run this week. They was able to go out further on Stovall. Depending on when the bids come back, we may be able to do more mileage out there on Stovall. But that was put to the paper this week.
I'll run this week next.
And we're hoping to have all three of these back to the board at the September 8th meeting for approval. The countywide commercial revow is due this Thursday. We're working on getting the tax digest calculations. We're aiming to have this to you at the August 26th meeting. Had meetings with Deans Two-Way and Kudzu. Been working with Tammy, the new finance director, in the budget for FY26. And EMC is reviewing road plans for the County Line Road Bridge and access in the Meriwether from the Amazon and Hogansville area. That's all I have.
Did we ever get the report from the airport authority? I know it was not to exceed an amount, and they said it was lower than that, and they kept saying they would get you the actual amount.
Did you get that
ever
amount?
get the airport authority amount for the lighting project?
I will reach back out to them again, but Commissioner Selson, and get that figure. They said they emailed it out to the members of the airport authority, but I have not seen it. I will get that figure and email you. email the board.
Can we push EMC with these RFPs and all?
We have, we've been pushing it as fast as we can push it, I promise.
September 8th, and then next thing you know, we're gonna get, it's too cold to pay, let's do it.
But I do know the LMA, he did put 120 days from acceptance of the bid to complete all work.
Okay. All right, report from county commissioners. Commissioner Grady,
I have nothing.
Commissioner Collins,
I have nothing new.
Commissioner Snelson,
I just want to thank the citizens for coming and being a part of it, and I'm glad to see that the county's moving forward.
Commissioner King,
I'd like to rest, don't have much to say this go around. Appreciate everything that everybody's doing.
same for me. I just thank everyone that came and has been involved, and thank the staff for what they're doing. We're gonna report from the county attorney.
That's what you can.
Do we have any further need for executive session?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All right, future meetings and notices are Monday, August 11th, 2025 is a work session at 4:30. Tuesday, August 26th, 2025 is a regular meeting at 6 p.m. We close Monday, September 1st, 2025 in observance of Labor Day. And Monday, September 8th, 2025 is a regular meeting at 6 p.m. So, no other business, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Adjourn.
Signature.